Happy Friday, and welcome to the 6th episode of the Nebraska Ed Leadership Live Show. I'm Andrew Easton with the ESU Coordinating Council. As always, thrilled to be here, thrilled to be able to MC this event that is in collaboration with the NDA Seed Team. So I'll introduce those folks here right from the top. Ryan Rickabaugh, Julie Downing, and also Jeff Gilbertson, who are here each and every week that we do this on the first and third weeks, Fridays of each month. And the C team works with the Nebraska Teacher and Principal Performance Standards. And so they know this work deeply as it pertains to leadership here in our state. We're grateful to NCSA for also being a supporting partner. And the aim of this effort really is to create a space for our education leaders to connect, share, and grow together. And so today we are welcoming leadership from Beatrice Public Schools with Jackie Nielsen, who's the assistant superintendent at BPS, and also James Ford, who is a principal at Beatrice High School, for another great conversation. And so, Jeff, I'm going to pass things over to you and for the introduction here. We usually give a little bit of the backstory, like why is it that we decided to spotlight Beatrice and these two leaders in particular? And so, Jeff, go ahead and take it away.
Well, thank you, Andrew. It's a pleasure to greet and see Dr. Nielsen and Mr. James Ford here from Beatrice Public Schools. We invited them today to discuss the exciting work happening in their district to enhance student learning and the impactful leadership moves that has driven success, particularly in the areas of instructional support, professional learning communities, and systems clarity and development. And honestly, the personal connection that I have to Beatrice Public Schools and these two fine individuals happened last fall. We worked a little bit with Jackie on PLC professional learning. Chad Dumas, if you're familiar with him, he's a guru out there, originally from Hastings, Nebraska, but he works exclusively with Beatrice Public Schools. And really, it shed some light on some exciting work happening. And for me, the connection was the positivity and the passion that exists within the culture of Beatrice Public Schools. And that doesn't happen by itself. These two leaders have really created that momentum there for student learning. So once again, thank you for being on the show. So I'm going to fire away with the first question. When you two think about Beatrice Public Schools right now in your current reality, what is the big picture story that you want listeners to hear about teaching, learning, and student support? And Jackie, you can go first.
Absolutely. One, thank you for having us on this show. We are excited to share our story, and I will tell you it is a journey. And that is one of the biggest things I think I want to get across to listeners is that this has been a journey. We've been doing the PLC process for years. I think they started before I arrived in 2010. And so it has been about how do we continue to develop teacher leaders so that we can implement strong instructional strategies, strong instructional practices, strong assessment practices, and strong pieces into our classroom so that we can enhance student learning. And part of that is by building our systems. And again, this has taken time. We've had Chad in our district for the last 4 years. And so he just continues to work with our teacher leaders, with our principals, with district leadership to continue to help us grow and evolve from year to year. And so, again, I go back to the word journey because it is not over yet. So we're just excited about the progress that we've made and the progress that we will continue to make.
Very good.
Try following that up. You nailed that, Dr. Nielsen. Holy moly.
Anyway.
Well, from the high school perspective too, it's just so fun getting to work with such a dynamic staff, and we have great kids at BHS. So it's just exciting when you get to see the fruits of your labor and everybody coming together around a common goal, and seeing the positive student outcomes that are a result of everybody working together. So that's the thing that I'm most excited about, the phrasing and kind of the mottos that we use, trying to establish a culture of excellence. And I really feel like our staff is bought in, which is the reason why we're having the growth and the success that we're doing it, because it's not a one-man show. So that's the exciting part for me too. And I'm sure Dr. Nielsen would echo that, is we get the unique opportunity to be the one telling the story, and sharing all the success. And that's so fun, but that doesn't happen without good people on the ground making it happen. So.
Very good. Thank you. My next question was going to be about PLCs, but I think you've answered our second question. So congratulations. I'm going to shift to James here. I'm going to pick on James a little bit. One thing I learned about you, James, is that you transitioned to Beatrice as a former interim superintendent at Cozad Public Schools. And then you became an administrator with Beatrice Public Schools, but you were in the elementary ranks, and then you shifted to high school. And so that was a positive story. And I asked you a few questions about that when I met you, but could you just explain that transition and what you've learned, maybe about your own leadership and I guess the world in that transition to becoming a high school principal?
Absolutely. So, have had kind of a unique educational journey, and I'll give you the pared down version because I've been known to talk, so I could go on for the whole 20 minutes, but kind of knew I wanted to be a high school principal and an athletic director, and or an athletic director. And the first job I had a shot at for administration was out at Cozad Community Schools as an assistant principal in elementary, and then still as a part-time special ed teacher. And so really, really enjoyed that and didn't really anticipate that, but absolutely loved my time out there. And over the years that I spent out at Cozad, I stepped into this special education director role. And then as things progressed, the board approached me if I would be willing to step in as an interim superintendent in the middle of a $26 million bond. And I was very involved in the bond process. And so it was a natural transition for me to step into that role, and absolutely loved my time there. Can't speak highly enough about Cozad. It was a tremendous experience. But knew I wanted to get back into being in building leadership, working with kids, and started praying on it and thinking about it. And we started thinking about it, and Beatrice Elementary had an opening. And so, God willing, and by blessings, we were able to jump into that role. And that was right in the middle of an extensive building project at Beatrice. And so got to work in a brand new state-of-the-art elementary building with a dynamic staff. And as I referenced at the beginning, though, I knew I wanted to be a high school principal, and that's where I had gone and gotten my educational experience in and wanting to be in that. And just by happenstance, our high school principal, he knew he wanted to be an elementary principal. And so our superintendent, Mr. Alexander, and Dr. Nielsen approached us if that would be something that we would be open to considering. And, you don't hear about that very often, but I was like, yeah, I'm all in on Beatrice. So you tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. And Philip gave kind of the same answer. And so it's been a really exciting journey for us. And yeah, we feel incredibly blessed being in our second year here in Beatrice, and can't wait for the years to come.
Excellent. Great story.
Well, I'll prompt real quickly our audience and say, if you're tuning in here, feel free to drop a comment or question into the chat. We can bring that in live and ask Jackie and James. And so appreciate that opportunity when we get that. And I'm going to throw things at Julie next, actually. So Julie, you said you had a question.
Yeah. So Jack, you talked a little bit about teacher leadership and the work that you're doing with Chad Dumas. And you both also know that our Nebraska teacher and principal standards sort of highlight leadership for teachers. And we're really proud of those pieces of the expectations in Nebraska. So I'm just curious if you'll talk about the work that you've done with your teacher leaders, how you've supported them, like how have you developed that lane and that role so that we're still teachers, but we take those leadership opportunities to support the school.
Awesome. Well, I will say as a district, we wish we could do more because I know that teacher leadership is huge. And plus, we don't have the number of opportunities that maybe a Class A school does to build our teacher leaders or to provide opportunities for our teachers to lead in our district. But we do have some very intentional opportunities. And that is one of the things that as we look at our district, we know we can't do it alone. And James brought this up that without the people on the ground working, and not that we are not working at the district office, but without those individuals connected directly to the classroom to help us lead our efforts, to help us lead our school improvement goals, it will be very hard to continue to move forward in the direction we want the district to move. So a couple of the things that we have done is we've provided our PLC leaders extensive training on what it means to lead a PLC, because sometimes we think, well, we just get together and talk, or we get together and have vent sessions and that's a PLC. No, it's not. And so it's one of those things that what does it mean to really focus on the 4 critical questions of a PLC? What exactly do we do when we break each question down? And what are the steps? And Chad has gone through a lot of that work. And that's why we have also brought every team member to the table too, because that's the other thing is we can just train the PLC leaders, but if we don't train the rest of the team, there might be disconnects. And so we want to make sure that those disconnects are addressed and that we continue to educate everyone in what does it mean to lead a PLC. The other thing that we've added just recently are mentors, and we've really kind of have shifted our mentorship program for teacher leaders and implemented where we have one mentor teacher at each building. And so that is the person that is working directly with our new teachers, because again, we are focused on how do we retain all of our teachers and how do we provide the supports that we can put in place. So we're always thinking about other ways that we can develop our teacher leaders, because again, they are the ones that are helping us make the change, and they are the ones that are implementing the effort. So we need their voices at the table.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. And we actually going to go to Ryan here in a minute, but we have Derek, who is joining us live here, who has a question for you. And I think maybe we'll talk to this one as it pertains to the PLCs. How are you ensuring that you're getting to questions 3 and 4 in that PLC structure?
Perfect. Well, I will tell you, Derek, these are great questions. One of the things that we have done is get really crystal clear on question 1. Because if we don't know exactly what we are teaching and what target we are hitting, it's very hard to provide that remediation or that reteaching and then that acceleration. So I will tell you, one of the things that we have done is focus on critical question number 1. But then we've started looking at, okay, what our assessments look like? But then to get to that question 3 and question 4, I will tell you, we've gone to one of my best friends is ChatGPT or AI to really help, because sometimes in a teacher's mind and with how busy they are, they don't have ideas for how do I take this to the next level? How do I help kids enhance and accelerate their learning? Because they already have it. They already have mastered it. But the other thing is, what can I do to reteach? Again, sometimes in the moment, teachers don't have those. And I will tell you, ChatGPT, Gemini will be able to give you just a few helpful hints, a few helpful tools to really help you focus on how you can answer questions 3 and 4. So that is still a work in progress, but I will tell you, it's one of those things we've moved farther along within the last couple of years. And it's been very exciting to see, because we are starting to target and starting to figure out exactly what we need to do to answer those 2 questions. James, I don't know if you have any insights or have seen different things. I know that you guys have done a lot with intervention pieces and really focusing, especially with your The high school has a school improvement goal of 97% of their students will meet grade level expectations and grade level standards. So
97% or more.
Or more. Yeah,
Or
sorry,
more.
I'm not going to stop us.
No, you're okay. I will not put a ceiling on us. So yeah,
Yep.
that or more is critical. But yeah, I guess and you totally nailed that question, Jackie. But I would say the thing in addition to that, I would say specific to the high school, we have been trying to be more proactive as opposed to reactive. And so trying to just be anticipating where those divergences are going to occur, so how you can get to critical to the questions 3 and 4. But I think the big thing is just trying to map everything out, trying to pre-plan. I just had a conversation with a brand new teacher yesterday, and I said, when you're planning, you got to be thinking about what if this lecture goes faster than I anticipate? What if this lecture goes slower than I anticipate? What happens if they get it really fast? What happens if they don't get it at all? And then what are you going to do if it's a unexpected event, such as the popcorn machine sets off the fire alarm? You know what I mean? Like that, those things happen in school. So you got to be planning for all of those scenarios and be thinking about that. And then be ready to implement it. And so I think our teachers have really taken that to heart. As Jackie said, it's a journey. That's also kind of the fun though, because you're never going to be perfect. So you always can pursue, how can we get a little bit better? But I do believe our teachers have taken that to heart, and they're truly evaluating what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. And we're seeing like I said, the fruits of our labor.
That's awesome. Well, I will throw it over to Ryan then next. Ryan, you have a question?
Yeah, I just want to follow up with James. Such an interesting leadership journey. I mean, you've got quite a unique perspective, right? Like you've been in the superintendency, you've been at the elementary level, now at the high school level. So I'm just curious, what stands out maybe as what is very similar about your experiences in those differing roles, and then what is just really distinctly different that separates what those roles look like in a school?
Yeah, that's a great question. The easy answer, because I have had a similar question before, the easy answer is it's really interesting when you're in the elementary role. When you go home at night, you are physically exhausted, but mentally you're okay. You're doing fine. And I would say I'm really physically feeling great at the end of the high school day, but I am mentally taxed at the end of the day. And so that is really kind of the thing that is such a unique switch. And both are so much fun. But I would say the thing from the kids level that is so similar, it's in my tagline on my email: the secret in education lies in respecting the student. If the kids know you love and care about them, and the parents know that you love and care about the kids and you want what's best for them, we can move mountains. But I think the big thing is the kids have to know how much you care, how much they know you want them to be successful. And even if we have bumps in the road, we're going to have a clean slate tomorrow and we're going to get back after it and let's figure this thing out. So that's been the part that's been so fun, is that's easy to do because you just be your normal self and you can make that work. So.
And does that feel, I'm sure it feels very unintentional and authentic to carry that why that you're explaining there through the work that you do. How do you, when you need to, I guess, try to be intentional with making sure that show of care and concern that you're alluding to there, like it actually is you have to almost be on for people a little bit, right? Even though there is an authenticity to that.
That's a great question too. And I guess the main thing for me is I told the kids at the very, very beginning of the school year, I don't know why I got into education, because I'm really bad at remembering names. And I've got 600 kids' names that I'm trying to memorize here. So that was not very smart on my part. And so what I've told the kids is, guys, I'm not good at this. And I told them from the beginning, so help me out. And I'm going to ask you your name, but I don't want you to be offended because I want to call you by your name. And kids love that. Kids love when you're calling them by their full name and talking about something unique to them. So I've got a kid, I'm not going to shout him out here, but he's the biggest Iowa Hawkeyes fan in the school. And oh my gosh, did he let me have it after the Huskers lost to go to the Elite Eight. And so he even put Iowa is elite on my door when I was gone. And so, it's just things like that of you make those relationships intentional, and then it just happens naturally. But you watch for a kid that's got brand new shoes on. You watch for a kid that just got a haircut, maybe got a new backpack. Maybe they're running with a new crew because they're out for a new sport or an activity that they weren't before. And then you just highlight that and you say, hey, I see you. I see you.
Yeah. And Jackie, do you feel that with obviously students, I think maybe in a similar capacity to what James shared, but maybe in a way that's obviously unique to you? Is there an element of your role as an assistant superintendent where that almost feels like how you are interacting with other stakeholders, maybe external parents, the community, things like that, I guess? What is that like for you in that seat?
Absolutely. It's a little different. I don't have the student connection that Mr. Ford has at the high school. And so I do miss it at times, but I have that deeper connection with our staff and with our administrators, but also with our parents and our community members. And it is, I think, the excitement. And that is, how do we foster that excitement about learning? How do we foster that excitement about Beatrice Public Schools? Because we are doing amazing things. And, it's one of those things that we are venturing on it will be our fourth iteration of our strategic planning process. So we will be working on our 15th to 20th year of a strategic plan. And I will tell you, that is where my excitement happens, is when I can bring community members together to figure out what can we do to move the needle, because we've had amazing strategic plans that have helped us move the needle. And as a leader, as a district leader, it is different. I'm not in the buildings giving, that cheerleader and being able to be that cheerleader, but I want to be that cheerleader from the outside as I look in and as I help guide.
Love that too. I would pose again that we do have questions. We would take questions, through our social media platform. So I can see that there's folks joining in. I would encourage you to post those questions and comments there, and we can bring them in live. But I'll go back to our C team here then, I guess. Or Jeff, I know that you had a few others that you had put down ahead of time to ask. So maybe we'll get to one of those.
Yeah, I know Julie has a question too. Julie, did you ask yours?
I have a question.
Okay.
I'm gonna tease Jeff a little bit. We tease Jeff on the seed team because he's always elevating the idea of clarity. So for you, both you and Jackie and James, what do you do to build clarity around the work with your staff, and how do they know what to expect?
I've got a good answer on this one, Dr. Nielsen, if you want me to jump in.
Go, James.
So I've had it in every single professional development, and I'm like any good educator. If I hear something that's gold, I'm going to take it and use it as my own. So I don't have no credit to me. I didn't come up with this, but clear is kind. And that is exactly right. Clear is kind. And so we have been very intentional about our school improvement goals on the things that we're wanting to get better at. And that's kind of what I was referring to when I was saying that we're rallying together and all working towards a common goal. As Dr. Nielsen referenced, our school improvement goal is to have 97% or more of our students passing all classes at BHS. And our other goal is to have a decrease in referrals over a 3-year time period. My hope is to put a number to that for this next year after we get our baseline data from this year. Because anytime what I have found, anytime you can put a number to it, then you can start seeing your growth and your progress. I'm a basketball coach at heart. And so I want to break things down, and I want to figure out how many points we need to score each quarter to make it to our ultimate goal of winning the game. So I I'm probably lame because I use the same references over and over and over again, but I told our staff during the fourth quarter, it's winning time now. So we're finishing this semester out strong here. No one is tripping at the finish line. So we're going to take every single step necessary to make sure our kids are getting the help that they need and every opportunity to demonstrate that they have learned the content that we're trying to get them to master. And then let's finish this year out strong so we can walk out the door with our head held high, knowing we did every single thing we could to help our kids. So.
The only thing I would add to that, because that is absolutely true, is also how else can we be clear, is by writing things down in the sense of our MTSS processes. We've had a lot of processes going on in our district, but we don't have them documented. We don't have it identified. And so if we want to have sustainability, we've got to have things identified. And so that is one of the works. And it has been hard work, but it has been gratifying, just because we've seen vast improvements within the last year, just because we've started identifying what it is, what are our expectations, how do we handle situations that are like this, like that. And so it really has been great work.
Yeah, that idea of building systems that support the thinking and the work, and what happens is then the clarity gets clear to students. And we don't question, we just know that we're moving forward and we know in which direction and how far. And that's great. Thank you.
So I'm going to piggyback off of that for the kids side of things, because this is so funny. The kids think that I'm just lame and use the same vernacular over and over again, but I'm doing it on purpose, where I tell the kids, we got to lock in and we got to get after it. And so the kids, every time they see me in the hallways now, they'll say, Mr. Ford, you locked in? So that's exactly right, though. But if you have that common language, like Dr. Nielsen's saying, we're writing our systems down, we're writing down our decision rules, we're writing down what supports we're going to have in place. There's clarity then, clear as kind. So that it's been fun. And yeah, the kids know we're going to have a culture of excellence at BHS, and we're going to live out the oath of the orange. So it's good stuff.
Love that. I think we have time for one more question, and we're going to go actually to the comments again here. So Adam, thanks for joining. I was asking James a little bit more about that being mentally exhausted at the end of the day, and what do you do to recharge the tank to help your staff to do the same? Probably a good question to consider here too. I know a lot of folks are on spring break at different times throughout March and April, and getting into that home stretch like you're talking about too of the fourth quarter. So what does that look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I'm a pretty basic individual. I love my wife. I love Husker football, and I love my family. So we will take the dog on a walk. We'll go to the park. We'll go throw the football around, play catch in the backyard, go to church, do those types of things. But my goodness, Husker basketball, making it all the way to the Sweet 16. I'm as rejuvenated on that as anything. So if Husker football can do that this fall, you watch out for Beatrice High School. We might be a rocket that takes off here. So
Love that. Jackie, how about for you?
I would say exercising. I exercise every day, and I think that is one of those ways that I start my day off, exercising and get my mind right in the track it needs to be on, and that helps me recharge my batteries to keep focused.
Gosh, and when you find, what do I say? I can tell just from visiting with both of you and the smile that just thinking about your work brings to your face when you find joy in the things that you're doing each and every day. It is easy to hit that recharge or that reset a little bit more than it might otherwise be, but obviously want to take care of ourselves as well. So, gosh, half hour goes real fast, friends. So I really appreciate
Let's
everybody.
keep it going. No, I'm kidding.
No doubt. Well, you know what? We will actually keep it going here in about 2 weeks. On Friday, April 17th, we're going to join again for what will be episode 7 of 9 for this spring. We'll kind of see if we'll be back in the fall yet or not. But we have really enjoyed the opportunity. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I will, I guess, connecting, learning more about the work that's going on in Beatrice today. And so thanks for your time and leadership. And I'm really grateful we got the opportunity to connect. So we hope to see everybody again in 2 weeks. And thanks, and have a great holiday weekend.